How much protein do you really need? Opinions on this seem to vary a lot, so I decided to investigate. First up, Lift, Learn, Grow has an article called How Much Protein Do You Really Need? To start with, here are some key points. Protein is important. It's the building blocks of tissue, and it's made up of amino acids, some of which are essential. Bodybuilders on steroids may need more protein, but overdosing on protein won't make you put on muscle. If you consume too much protein, you won't get enough carbohydrate and fat. How much protein should you eat to build and maintain muscle? You need about 0.6 to 0.9 grams per pound of body weight. 0.8 grams per pound is optimal. Protein intake above 1 gram per pound of body weight is not necessary. To calculate how much this actually is per day, multiply your body weight in pounds by 0.8. For example, a male weighing 150 pounds needs 120 grams of protein per day. At 3 meals per day, that means 40 grams of protein per meal. Just keep in mind though, this is for those trying to build muscle, not for the average person. But how reliable is the information on this website? There are 4 links to external sources, 1 to bodybuilding.com, 2 to PubMed, and 1 to the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition. BBC Future takes a bit of a different angle with their article, We Don't Need Nearly as Much Protein as We Consume. They say that inactive adults need 0.7 grams of protein per kilograms of body weight. Sorry to switch from pounds to kilograms, but this is the unit this website uses. Anyway, that means on average this is 55 grams per day for men and 45 grams for women. The problem I have with this advice though is that people should not be inactive. Don't go telling people how much protein to eat if they are inactive. Tell them to get active, then tell them how much protein they need while being active. Anyway, so what are the possible problems of not getting enough protein? These are hair loss, skin breakouts, and weight loss as muscle mass decreases. However, these are rare. Protein is needed to build muscle, but most people should not need to take protein supplements. Most people will get enough protein from their food. However, some athletes may need to supplement extra protein. Also, elderly people may need as much as 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. But is it possible to have too much protein? Yes, it's possible, but very difficult. It can cause issues with people with kidney problems though, but this is rare. But protein does have benefits in helping with weight loss. By eating more protein, you will feel satisfied for longer. Eating a high-protein breakfast will reduce food cravings later in the day. But don't completely cut out carbohydrates. High protein and moderate carbohydrate is best. Aim for a ratio of about 30% protein, 40% carbohydrate and 30% fat. Avoid red meat as it is linked to cancer and heart disease. Go for lean meats and fish instead. The only problem with this article, though, is that there are no links to external sources. Healthline has an article called Protein Intake. How much protein should you eat per day? Here they mention the daily reference intake, which is 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, or 0.3 grams per pound. This means 56 grams per day for the average sedentary man, or 46 grams per day for the average sedentary woman. But is this really enough? It's only enough to prevent deficiency, and protein requirements do vary from person to person, depending on activity level, age, muscle mass, physique goals, and current state of health. They mention again that protein is good for weight loss because it keeps you feeling fuller for longer, thus reducing calorie intake. And again, they say about 30% is the ideal percentage of calories from protein. But what if you want to build or maintain muscles? More protein is needed for this. One common recommendation is 1 gram for 1 pound of body mass. Another recommendation is 0.7 grams per pound. So, a 150 pound man building or maintaining muscle needs between 105 and 150 grams of protein per day. If you're carrying a lot of body fat, use either your lean mass or your goal weight rather than your total body weight, because It's mostly your lean mass that determines the amount of protein you will need. Endurance athletes need more than inactive people too, but not as much as bodybuilders. They need somewhere between 0.45 and 0.6 grams per pound, which is about 68 to 90 grams per day. Other people who need more protein include people with physical jobs and people recovering from injuries. But what are the health risks of eating too much protein? Protein will not cause liver problems in healthy people. Protein does not cause osteoporosis, and reasonably high intakes are unlikely to cause problems in otherwise healthy people. But what about the average person? If you're at a healthy weight, don't lift weights and don't exercise much, then aiming for 0.36 to 0.6 grams per pound or 0.8 to 1.3 grams per kilogram is a reasonable estimate. This is about 56 to 91 grams per day for the average man and 46 to 75 grams per day for the average woman. But it's best to get a bit too much than not enough. As for how reliable this information is, there are a lot of external links throughout this article. I counted a total of 25 links, 24 of them to PubMed and 1 to the Journal of the American Geriatrics Society. So I think it's safe to say that Healthline have, once again, really done their research for this article. Harvard Medical School has an article called "How much protein do you need every day?" They mention the recommended dietary allowance, which is 0.8 grams for every pound of body weight. This means 53 grams for a 50-year-old woman weighing 140 pounds. However, this is just the minimum, not the optimum. So, how much is the optimum? Well, they recommend that aiming for twice the RDA is safe. But you should be careful when increasing your protein intake. Don't increase it by eating more meat, especially red or processed meat. Instead, choose foods that are low in saturated fat and processed carbs but rich in nutrients. Here they have a list of good high-protein foods such as tuna, salmon, haddock, trout, turkey, chicken, yogurt and cottage cheese. As for the reliability of this information, they do have a few links to good quality sources. They link to the United States Department of Agriculture twice, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, and the Office of Disease Prevention and Health Promotion. WebMD has an article called "How much protein do you really need?" Here they take a different view, stating that the dietary reference intake is 45 grams for women and 52 grams for men, but most people eat much more than this, with women eating 75 grams on average and men eating 100 grams on average. In terms of the possible dangers of too much protein, they warn that it can be a problem for people with kidney disease. They also warn you not to eat too much meat. As for the reliability of this information, there are no links to external sources, but it was written by a registered dietitian. And finally, Dr. Eric Berg has a video called "How much protein do we really need? Must watch." He's not particularly clear on how to calculate the amount. He says that the recommended amount of 0.8 grams per body weight is too much, and that we should aim for half that, 0.4 grams per body weight. But he doesn't say specifically what he means by per body weight. But he does go on to say that the ideal amount of protein for someone of his size is 78 grams per day, which is 26 grams per meal. He talks about the possible dangers of eating too much protein. He says that excess protein can end up being converted into sugar, and if protein is combined with sugar when eaten, it can cause insulin spikes. This is a big problem because many people eat protein with sugar, for example eating a burger while drinking a milkshake, or even eating a protein snack bar containing sugar, which most of them do. He also says that excessive protein can disrupt sleep due to the phosphorus in it. But how reliable is his information? Well, he doesn't have any links to external sources, but his bio says he is a chiropractor who specialises in weight loss through nutritional and natural methods. So, to give you a summary, protein is essential, and the minimum you need to avoid being deficient is 56 grams per day if you're a man, or 46 grams per day if you're a woman, on average. If you are physically active, elderly, recovering from injury or wanting to lose weight, you will need more, up to 91 grams per day for a man or 75 grams per day for a woman on average. If you are trying to build or maintain muscle, you will need more, up to about 150 grams per day for a 150 pound man, but there is no benefit to going any higher than that. And to give you a few warnings, avoid combining protein with sugar, don't eat too much meat, particularly red or processed meat, make sure you're still getting enough of everything else, healthy carbohydrate, healthy fats, vitamins and minerals. If you have kidney disease, don't have too much protein. I hope you found this video helpful, and if so, please click the like button below. And if you would like to see more videos like this in the future, why not click subscribe too? If you would like to look at the pages I referenced in this video, the links are in the description. Until next time, I wish you the very best of health.